Periodically I will shoot a video on the most basic question that I'm asked all the time in every business, whether it's a person running a consulting firm or a hairstylist, someone that has a limousine company. No matter what they do, the question is, how do I get more clients? I don't think there's any business that doesn't want to have more clients and doesn't want to make more money. And the question is, do you understand the basic framework associated with getting more clients? You see, some people are looking at gimmicks and tactics, and they're looking at the latest marketing techniques and so forth, but they might not understand the fundamentals of getting clients. So they might think, wow, if I had more money, I'd get a PR firm. Or if I could just get connected somehow, or if I could just show up the right place or say the right thing. And they just don't understand the fundamentals of getting more clients. Now, first of all, let me say to you that getting more clients is something that every business should want. So you should never be at a point where you're saying, hey, we have enough, or I don't want to have more clients, or whoa, wait a minute, how many clients do I need? That kind of thinking is the thinking that will cause a business to diminish, because just like a garden, just like a tree, just like a living thing, you have to always be living and breathing and growing. And if you're not growing, you're dying. So you want to get more clients. The question is, are you practicing the fundamentals associated with getting more clients? Are you doing it every day? Now, there are several steps to getting more clients, and this, as I've said, it will work in any market. So ask yourself, do I understand these things, and am I doing these things? So what's number one? Number one is defining your niche, defining your specialty. Now, this is something that many people have difficulty with because they really don't want to alienate anybody. And the reality is, if you're serving everybody, you're serving nobody. So understanding that you serve a particular niche or you have a particular specialty is really important, because people will get to know you around that topic. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't be broad in scope, but it does mean that you must select a word, a positioning statement, a phrase that will define what you do so that people can understand it in a very clear, defined context. This is where many businesses go wrong. They start out and say, look, I just want to serve everybody. What I do is good for everybody. And you have to ask yourself, is my niche a particular aspect of the business? Do I deal with young people, older people, people who are making this kind of change in their life, people who focus on this kind of problem? Do I focus with people with this kind of title, this geography? You've got to define what that is. And you have to be sure also that your definition isn't detrimental to you, that it isn't something that takes away from you. So if you were a person that said, hey, I take all of the reject clients, that would not be positive for your marketplace. So you have to ask yourself, why would someone deal with me? And how do I describe that in a way that makes it clear that I have a very distinct specialty, that it's really clear that when you mention my name, you mention me, you know what I stand for. And so when you come into a particular business, someone could ask for your name. Hey, is Frank here? And Frank is the person who knows how to do a very specific thing. Now, I have to tell you, a lot of times people think that they're specific, but they're general. So you got to work on this. And you have to talk to some clients and see whether they really get it. Because sometimes if it's too nuanced, they won't get it. And you'll think that you've come up with this clever angle when in fact all you've done is confuse the world about who you are and what you do. And when you're starting your business early on, this is something that can be very confusing because you might cobble together a lot of different things that you can do and you're just confusing people. So that is what you need to define first, your niche or your specialty. Now that will help you with the second step. And that second step, which is so important, and it's hard to do if you don't have a clear niche or specialty, is to define and present a single offer opportunity to work with you. So, if you make breakfast, for example, a single opportunity might be come in, get a cup of coffee, and oatmeal for X. So you're known for breakfast. You run a natural store. Come in and get your high energy shake in the morning between 9 and 11. A single offer that will get people's attention. The idea of telling them all the things that you offer, all the things you could do, all the possibilities, is a loser. So you have to say, what is it that I can present that will help people understand in very specific terms how to do business with me? And it doesn't mean that you can't do other things. It doesn't mean you can't take them in other directions. But it means that the way they get to know you and what you're known for is very clear. So you've got your niche, you've got your specialty, and then you give the prospect or client an opportunity to take advantage of that and do business with you. So that should be clear. Now, the third piece of this is you got to go where those people who might want this are. You have to hang out where they are. And this reminds me so much of sometimes when I'm driving in a city, I'll drive by and I'll see this like a food truck that'll be outside of a business or a factory or a workplace, and they'll pull up and they'll offer bagels and coffee and all the things that people like for breakfast. In fact, when I first worked on Wall Street, there used to be this food cart that would come up and down the elevator in Payne Webber where I worked at one point, and they would ring the bell and everybody would leave their office and say, oh, the food truck's here, and we'd go out into this alcove by the elevator and people would order their coffee and this and that, and so that person was taking their services to where people hang out. Now you can do this literally like that, physically like that, or you can do that, for example, online. You can go where there's a lot of traffic, or you can have a lot of traffic sent to you, or you can go to a association, for example, that specializes in your industry or in your market. If you're selling to doctors, you can go to doctors. If you're selling to whatever, you can go to their particular conference and convention. So the idea is, where do people who have an interest in what you have to offer, who need this problem solved, where do they hang out? So that's the third piece of this that you have to understand. If you don't understand that, then you're not going to do anything to move that offer along, to get people to take advantage of that niche. You don't have a business. Now, there's a fourth step to this that you have to do, and sometimes people don't do this, and again, it's a reason why the business might not prosper or their sales territory might not prosper. You've got to talk to people about what you have. You got to have a conversation. Now, this can happen by phone, it can happen in person, it can happen via email, it can happen online like this, or by video, but you've got to have a conversation with them. And you've got to have a helpful dialogue. You have to help them with their desire, with their need. They know that you offer coffee. They would like to have a cup of coffee. You've made yourself available to them at the elevator bank and so forth. So now the question is, how can I help you? Here's what we have. I've got some beautiful brownies to go with that. I have these other things available to you. I know you'll enjoy this. Oh, this is homemade. Why don't you try this? You have to have conversations with them. And those conversations can be direct response. Those conversations can be call outs on a website. They can be webinars. It can be any number of ways. But if you're not having conversations with them, you're not going to have business. Now, hopefully, if you've designed what you're doing properly, the people are coming to you because they've realized so clearly who you are and what you offer. And you've set up this nice offer for them that they're coming to you to hear about that special garment tailoring that you do, that they've heard about. They've seen the advertisements. They've gotten the discount coupon. They've learned about who you are, and they're ready to take action. And then you can have a conversation that is easier, that is more relevant, that is more compelling, and that will lead to a sale. But you've got to talk to them. So that's the next step. So what's the fifth step? Well, the fifth step is don't forget to ask for the business. You have to ask them to buy from you. So after you've gone through the process of learning what their needs are, understanding that this is the right client for you, you've got the right offer for them, well then it's merely a matter of saying to them, well, it looks like everything here is a great fit. Why don't we get you started on level 1? And that's the goal. Getting them started, getting them onboarded, closing the deal. And that's the process. Now, you simply do those 5 steps over and over and over again. Now, you might find that finding that right offer, finding where those people hang out, having that dialogue, you might get hung up in those steps because there can be a log jam because you haven't found the right person, you haven't hit it off right, the rapport isn't right, but those are the steps. It works in every business. So don't get discouraged when you find that after 1, 2, 3 times it's not working for you. You just haven't had enough conversations to make it work. You have to do this repeatedly in order to see it play out. And what I found in my own career is I didn't realize how much was required to complete these steps to get to the place where you have a buyer. I didn't realize how many no's I had to hear, or how many I'm not sure I had to hear. I didn't realize it. I didn't know how clear these steps had to be, how clear the offer, how clear the niche has to be. If you do these things, you will reduce the possibility that you will lose. So let's walk through them again. Number 1, you need a niche or a specialty. Number 2, you need a really clear single offer that you can present, an opportunity to work with you. Number 3 is you got to get in front of the right people, the people who are asking for what you want, who understand what you want, who have the capacity to pay for what you want. You've got to have the right target. Number 4, you got to talk to them. You have to have the right conversations, the right messaging, the right dialogue. And number 5, you have to ask them for the order. You have to ask them for the deal. You have to ask them to do business with you. You take these 5 steps, you do it repeatedly, and no matter what business you're in, you will have clients. If you like this tip, give me a thumbs up. Let me know that you like this. Try it out and make sure that you go out and get some more clients. I hope you're enjoying this. I look forward to sharing more with you. Make sure you subscribe because I have a lot more here and a lot more coming, and I'll see you next time.